All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Motor City Uncut, episode 147, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit on this August 13th, 2017. You ready to go? Lions football's back for the 2017 year. The first preseason game wrapping up just under 2 hours ago as we go on air here tonight, just after 6 p.m. Eastern. Time for a hot take segment.
What?
Yeah, irrational takes based on way too small a sample sizes. What is your number one hot take for the Lions 2017 season?
It's got to be Kenny Galladay, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you could.
The guy looked really, really good today. Mm-hmm. He's looked good in camp. And obviously you want to see that transition from, camp to actual preseason game and see how that transitions over. And he made 3 phenomenal catches today.
Absolutely.
One of them was a complete circus where he did the one-handed in the end zone. Another one, too, when he came back to the ball, I believe it was a second touchdown, came back to the ball, which is also very, very nice to see.
I missed the second touchdown. It was right when I got up to go make some lunch.
Yeah, it was nice to see on Rudak's part, too, because to me, and I know Chris Spielman addressed this on another play, who's their third-string quarterback?
Brad Kaya,
who also looked very, very good today, too. But he made mention of Brad Kaya connecting with Ford on a play where I believe Ford eventually scored a touchdown.
Yeah, Dantes Ford did score in that play.
Yeah, where he didn't look for the ball, he just came back to it, and Kaya just threw it at him without even hesitating to make sure that Ford was knowing he was part of the play and he was going to, the ball was coming his way.
The ball was on the way. Yeah.
I'm digressing here though, but that Rudak to Galladay play for Galladay's second touchdown when. Again, we've seen it before with Stafford. I've seen Stafford do it with Calvin Johnson before where, Stafford would throw it short. Johnson would come back to it and then score the touchdown. That's what Galladay did. And I don't think that it was meant to be underthrown. I do think it was meant to be underthrown.
So it was an intentional back shoulder fade, not an unintentional one?
Exactly. And I thought that was good to see. And I think, and look, I know that there was a lot of, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself when we're talking about a guy like Kenny Galladay because he is a rookie still.
Rookie third rounder from small school.
Rookie third rounder, small school. But we've seen plenty of rookie later round draft picks pan out in the NFL. I liked what I saw from him though, and he's a bigger receiver. So you don't need to mix in
he's
that.
He's tall. He's very thin.
You don't need. You can add thickness to you. Yeah. You can add bulk to you. So that's not something that worries me. What worries me is if you have a small school guy who's below 6 foot.
Size.
Yes, that's when you run into problems. Not to mention too. I think the jury's still out on Marvin Jones. Am I not? Am I correct?
My hot take in regard to Kenny Galladay is that he's going to supplant Marvin Jones by the end of the season in the starting lineup, let's call it. Jones will probably still be out there in 3 receiver sets, but if we're just looking at 2 receiver sets, it's going to be Tate and Galladay.
And that's
my hot take.
And that's what I was getting
in regards to Galladay.
And that's what I was getting at, Dorf, is that's what we could definitely see by the end of this coming season is Galladay being your number 2, opposite of Golden Tate. And then, obviously, Marvin Jones, like you said, isn't going anywhere, but you could certainly see him only working in 3 receiver sets. That's it.
And quite frankly, where Marvin Jones, had most of his success before in Cincinnati was when he was that number 3 guy going with like an AJ Green, and depending on the year, who they had opposite of him,
like Mohamed Sanu.
Well, it wasn't necessarily Sanu. Sanu at the same. That was the final year, but anyway, I digress. But at the same time, you know what? That's fine. You know what? Jones is 6 foot or 6'1". He's not a very big guy. Golden Tate is generously listed at 5'10". So with that in mind, having another additional big red zone threat is pretty awesome weapon to have, especially one that you can you've already seen. Not only is he big, he can contort his body to turn around and catch that back shoulder throw. That's something Lions haven't had in a while.
I think this is going to. And again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself with this because it's just the first preseason game, and I know you and I, Dorf, are usually ones to come out and say, "Oh, let's pump the brakes a little bit about."
Well, this is a segment about not pumping the brakes. Let's make some irrational judgments here.
But this is going to serve as a benefit to the Lions as well when it comes to third down. Anquan Boldin isn't returning; he signed with the Buffalo Bills. I think Kenny Galladay,
based on their trades today or the last couple of days, it looks like he's going to have a pretty big role there in Buffalo.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that Kenny Galladay is going to make Lions fans forget Anquan Boldin a little bit easier. So, yeah, I like what I saw from him.
Absolutely. Another hot take for me. I guess we're not as fucked as we thought at left tackle. Greg Robinson. Extremely big grain of salt. The Colts pass rush might be the only team in the NFL worse than the Detroit Lions. But at the same time, looked more than fine. Not necessarily as worried as I was going into the game about the left tackle situation. Another one, Joe Dahl. I think officially today won the backup guard battle, meaning first-round pick Nick Tomlinson is going to be cut at the end of camp.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think the Lake and Tomlinson thing was. I think people could see that coming from a mile away, based on how he was it last year that he lost his.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he lost his starting role
week 4.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, this is a first-round pick, you guys, so.
First round pick in his third year in the league.
Yep, and he still hasn't made an impact. Usually that's a recipe for a guy getting his walking papers and finding his way,
somewhere else or out of football.
And you know what? He's a guy that could, if I was him, maybe give this football thing one more try with another team.
And go be the brain surgeon you wanted to be.
But yeah, you have does he have his medical degree yet, or is he still?
No, he would have to go back to.
Yeah,
I believe he did graduate from Duke, but he would have to go back to med school, obviously.
Yeah, he'd probably have to, do his residency and yada, 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 yada. But something else that I'd like to see too, or that I liked today was team was much more disciplined. They didn't take any significant penalties. They didn't take any penalties in bad spots. They weren't putting themselves in positions to
get in trouble
and punt the ball, because they weren't, before with Lions teams, I mean, it always seems like we've seen them move backwards and they would end up obviously having to punt the ball away or whatever. But I liked what I saw today as far as them being more disciplined. So hopefully that continues to carry on throughout the preseason and into the regular season. But again, they looked very, very disciplined. They didn't take any stupid penalties. They didn't kill any of their drives, which was very, very nice to see.
Even with the guys down the roster too.
Yes.
Which is
again, and this is really all about the guys down the roster, because the starters, Matthew Stafford only played for one drive.
Yeah, and that interception wasn't. It wasn't a good decision to throw the ball.
No, it was right. It was right into coverage. It was
into cover. So it's high. It
was a slant.
High.
It was high. It was
1,000 miles an hour from 10 feet away. And you know what? With a closing defensive back,
there was mistakes on both ends. Yes, Stafford shouldn't have thrown the ball, but at the same time,
or if you're going to make that throw, you gotta do it low so he catches it and falls.
And doesn't get killed. and that's what Spielman said too. But it hit Marvin Jones right in the hands. Probably should have caught it. But you know what? First drive,
whatever
of the preseason, I don't care. Everything up to that play Matthew Stafford looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to sit there and worry about him ending, his first and only drive in preseason with an interception. That's not something. But there are people out there going to, that are going to freak out about it probably. So.
All right. Do you got any more you want to add here? Because I have one final one. If
Go ahead and take it now, and I'll see if I have another one.
Okay. My final hot take. Hot. HAWT. That's actually how we spelled it. Hot. Lions will keep 3 quarterbacks this year. I do not think that they will risk exposing Brad Kaya to waivers and having some other team grab him for the active roster. They will keep 3 quarterbacks on the active roster for the entire season.
I think they probably will too. What does that do for you, though?
Nothing.
What I guess my question is, what would the end game be with a guy like Kaya and Rudak, who both look good in the preseason?
Mm-hmm. Brad Kaya has a higher end potential, but if you need to, in a situation where your backup quarterback is going to need to play this year, Jake Rudak is going to be better off trying to win you games now. The long term, Brad Kaya has a higher ceiling.
We're not talking about any potential replacement for Matthew Stafford, though, are we?
Not initially.
Okay.
No, neither of these guys were drafted with the just in case we need to replace Stafford in mind. Neither of those guys were picked for that. These were picked of these guys can be a competent backup quarterback while they're still cheap, and if they're still good and somebody else wants to sign them or we can trade them, cool. If not, they spend their 3-4 years here and they age out of the program, let's call it, and so what?
All right.
I think that's all they were. Come on, you're not expecting really anything out of a 6th-round pick.
No, you're not.
You're expecting a backup or special teams type player.
I do think in the
6th round.
I do think Kaya should have went.
Oh, Kaya left early, so Kaya left with a year of eligibility remaining, coming off a shit season.
Yeah.
However, prior to that season, he was highly thought of by the NFL scouting committee or community. And quite frankly, as you kind of saw, last year's quarterback class was absolute horseshit. So he wanted to try and gamble and get taken a little bit higher than he would have. Gamble didn't pay off. He got picked in the 6th round.
Do you think there's any threat? I mean, are we maybe overlooking a potential battle here for the backup then?
I don't think so. Jake Rudak will be your number 2 on the depth chart probably this entire season.
And it looks like it was a good move too. I mean, I personally think that Jake Rudak should have been the backup last season. I
get why they didn't, but
he was the more impressive. I mean, he was arguably the best quarterback in preseason for them last year.
You know what that means?
What's that?
Diddly squat.
I know, but it doesn't mean it's not diddly squat when we're talking backup. I mean, it's diddly squat when we're talking, is he going to challenge Matthew Stafford for the starting role? I mean, that's
excuse me, that's stat pad for you.
I mean that all of that talk is utter bullshit. But like I was saying, I thought that Jake Rudak deserved the backup role last year. Sure. And again, we're just talking about backup roles. I know you've said it, I've said it before, that if the Lions are playing their backup quarterback,
they're fucked anyway.
Yeah, they're fucked. The season's over anyway. So I get it. But in my opinion, he should have been the backup last year. And it looks like he's picking up right where he left off too. So I was glad to see that. I was glad to see Kaya come out and play the way that he did. They both look like they have a good grasp of the offensive system, and I was impressed with the wide receivers as well. So
absolutely. Any more hot takes? We did.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Anthony Zettel looked all right.
Yes, he did.
Sure, higher towards Achilles. Hooray!
Not good.
Already your thinnest position on the entire roster got extra thin. This was what, second or third defensive snap for them? No, it was like the second, because they went 3 and out. He played and then came back in. It was like the second snap of the second drive.
Yeah.
5 or 6 snaps into the preseason.
And I think he went untouched too.
Yeah. Well,
So
he's going to be. That's at least a 12-month injury.
Oh yeah,
he's
he's done for the.
You know what the metaphor is for trying to fix an Achilles tear?
What?
Sew back together rib spaghetti.
Well, they lost McCullough Shore? They lost to an Achilles injury,
yep.
But it wasn't in a game. It was during camp.
Practice.
Yeah, and he was gone for the season, and
then never recovered to really reach potential there.
That's got to be.
I totally forgot about him. That's a good one.
I mean, that's got to be I know an Achilles injury is shit in just about any position, but if you're
shit, period.
I know, but I mean, just think about it though. When you're a defensive end and you're going up against the tackle, I mean, you're constantly being pushed back. That's a lot of pressure on the on the Achilles.
A lot of it is the Achilles tendon. If it's a non-contact injury, it was just a matter of time. It was going to happen anyway. It just happened to happen then.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with like non-contact knee injuries. The ligament was likely already structurally compromised. It just needed something to go.
It was like a nail in a tire.
Yeah.
Eventually, it was going to.
Eventually, it was going to go flat. Yeah. That's kind of it. It's just sad to see because he was going to be counted on a lot this year.
Yep.
All right. Next, another Lions topic here: the Calvin Johnson problem. You and I think, are on the same page here. I don't think the Lions need to do anything.
No, in fact, I think it would be stupid for them to do anything.
Absolutely.
And I know we were talking about this the other day. You made an excellent point. Why make any other team better?
Yeah, is a 6th or 7th round pick, which is likely all you'll get for him, really worth making another team that much better?
No. And
it would be one thing if it was a guaranteed, okay, say you could trade him to a team that's not on the schedule, and you knew Calvin was only going to come back for one season.
AFC team not on the schedule.
The AFC team not on the schedule. Fine. Get a 6th or 7th round pick for him. Okay, but you can't guarantee that it's only a 1-year proposition. And a 6th round pick, you know what those are?
Nothing.
Generally speaking, pretty worthless. It's nice to have picks aplenty, but more often than not, you get at max a reserve or special teamer out of the 6th round. You rarely to never get anything like an elite level player out of that.
Yeah, and Dorf, when we're discussing that, I was reading some of the comments too when we posted that article up on social media, and
don't get a 1st rounder for him. You know what? The only players that are traded for 1st round picks in the NFL are starting quarterbacks. You do not get 1st round picks for anybody else ever.
NFL players are like cars. As soon as you drive it off the lot, then you're never going to get what you paid for it.
The extremely rare exception that getting a 1st round pick for somebody was with the Saints and Patriots trade this offseason with Brandon Cooks. It was Cooks for a 1st rounder straight up. That was a guaranteed, already known 30th overall pick. So you got a player still in his prime, without any real damage in Brandon Cooks, already a top-end NFL receiver for a 1st rounder.
Again, that doesn't happen. That is extremely rare.
Look how teams don't trade that level of talent.
No, and look at
he's still young and cheap. They just don't.
No, and look how rare trading is in the NFL anyway. It's
incredibly rare.
It just doesn't happen all that much.
And if if it's trades, they're more like the Greg Robinson trade that we saw with the Lions a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, Taylor Decker's hurt. Let's call somebody. Oh hey, you guys are going to cut him anyway, right? We'll give you a 6th rounder to take him off your hands now, and just we'll take his contract, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, or like a Kyle Van Noy trade, or
they signed him as a free agent, didn't they?
They traded him.
They did.
They traded him. Yeah, they traded him mid-season. Yeah, was it for Tim Wright? Was that what it was, or was it for something else?
No, Tim Wright was acquired for Kyle Brinza, the kicker that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Lasted 4 weeks with the Bucks. Yeah,
went to Plymouth.
Yeah, local boy. But that's the kind of trades that happen in the NFL. That's the point.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And not only that, Dorf, I am.
It would be a minor miracle that should be recorded in the great, books of history if the Lions got a 5th rounder for him.
I was also look, NFL's a business, obviously. Lions don't owe Calvin anything. Calvin doesn't owe the Lions
what they owed
anything.
him was his contract.
Yes.
They owed him his contract.
Like I was seeing these sappy posts coming from people. Oh, they should just release him or trade him as a goodwill gesture.
Fuck you.
No.
Nothing.
No, I don't want. Look, he made a lot of money throughout his career playing for the Lions. He got to play football for a living, and I know it's a lot of that stuff coming out now. Maybe that's not such a good thing anymore, but still, the guy made a shit ton of money. He got out probably soon enough where he's not going to be, in a wheelchair later on in life, or he's not going to be stricken with all early onset Alzheimer's or ALS or something like that, or CTE. None of these guys don't owe anybody anything. Mm-hmm. Calvin doesn't owe the Lions anything.
The Lions don't owe him anything.
And the Lions don't owe him anything. What sucks about this whole thing is, yes, the Lions have sucked for all those years.
What is the reason for the Lions to show gratitude or kind of do somebody else a favor when they have no, quid pro quo, tit for tat kind of favor expected in return?
There is nothing. There is no motivation.
You know what?
Behind
You know
that.
what most people do,
especially for a team that hasn't won a playoff game since. Jeez.
You know what real life people get for 9 years of service for an NFL franchise is like the equivalent of working at the same company for 35 years and retiring.
Yeah.
In real life. You know what most people get for that? A plaque,
free dinner.
A gift card.
Yep, gift card somewhere.
You don't get
dinner and a movie.
You don't get to, cost your organization. Thank you for 35 great years. You don't get to cost them and make the competition. They're not going to go let you make the competition better.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And yes, it is.
You might get a congratulations on 35 years party.
And you know what, Dorf? It sucks. It sucks that the Lions have managed to accomplish losing two of arguably the greatest offensive players the NFL's ever seen in the last
30 years.
25.
You got nothing on. You had them both for a decade each.
You had Barry Sanders, who is arguably the greatest running back to ever step foot on a football field. You lost him. You didn't accomplish anything while you had him. And the same thing goes for Calvin Johnson as well. But you know what? Unfortunately, that is the nature of the business. And I'm not about... And if I'm the Lions and I'm Bob Quinn, and I had nothing to do with that era, whether it was Barry Sanders or the majority of Calvin Johnson's career, I am not going out there and helping out another team and putting myself in a bad position to make up for the mistakes of what happened in the past. I'm not doing that.
And at the same time, like what we said right when Bob Quinn was hired and the year after Calvin Johnson decided to retire, he probably saved Bob Quinn from making the worst PR move of his life.
Yeah.
The best decision for the long-term health and future of the organization was probably going to be to cut Calvin Johnson after this season. You probably would have had him on the roster for this year, but that was it.
And
you would have had to cut Calvin Johnson. And he saved, and thankfully Calvin saved him from that. You might give him 10 years from now after the dust is settled, thanks, man. You really bailed me out here because you know what? We probably would have had, that would be one of those after 3 or 4 cocktails at some reunion party, post-draft party or something like that. Hey, Calvin, really appreciate what you did for me here. What do you mean, Bob? Well, in 2017, we were preparing to release you, which would have been a very, very rough start to my tenure here in Detroit. And you know what? It's a move that we would have had to make financially because we're going to struggle to put a team around Matt Stafford going forward without making that move. But there would have been a fan revolt, and you saved me from that.
Sure.
Really, that moment of drunk honesty is what, that's how it would have had to been communicated. But
it was going to be a lose-lose situation for Bob Quinn as well, because if Calvin Johnson wasn't cut, they wouldn't be in a good position right now to
freaking disaster. You wouldn't have TJ Lang or Rick Wagner. That's
you also wouldn't be put in a good position right now to re-sign Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely not.
Because Matthew Stafford we've said it.
You would be starting a probably second or third round rookie at right tackle this year. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, Taylor Decker just got hurt. So you're starting 2 rookies or scrap heap fines at tackle this season and wasting yet another year if that move doesn't happen.
And you know what else they're going to do with this whole Calvin Johnson thing? And I know it sounds shitty and it may suck, but they're going to be able to
be better going forward.
Well, they're going to be able to kill this eventually. They're going to be able to kill any notion of Calvin Johnson returning because they own his rights. What, till 2020?
I believe so. Well, at the same time, I believe if you walk away, if you declare your intent to come back, I think they have your rights until forever until you come back. Because really? Eli Kovalchuk. Well, it's the NHL.
Yeah, it's the NHL.
Kovalchuk. He needs
the
would resume a contract with the Devils for the next 15 or 16 years.
Yeah, that's correct.
Trying to return to the NHL. Mm-hmm. I believe it would work the same way with the Lions.
Yeah, I'd have to double check on that, but you're probably right. So in any sense, Calvin Johnson isn't coming back.
Nope. Lions don't need to let him either.
Anything that we're hearing about Calvin Johnson making a return, we've heard Pac-Man say, "Oh, he's going to take a year off, then come back." How is he going to return? If the Lions say he can return, then he'll return. But he's not.
Yeah, because they put him on the reserved retired list.
Yeah, but he's not.
They have to take him off of that.
He's not coming back on that contract, and the Lions aren't going to trade him because, like you said, Dorf, they're not going to get back.
Why would they make somebody else better for multiple years in exchange for a 6th rounder?
Yep, they're not. It's not worth it to the Lions. It's not worth it.
So if somebody is dumb enough to pull a who was it? Traded his whole draft for Ricky Williams. That was
I can't remember.
God, Ditka. Mike Ditka when he was with the Saints.
Oh, with the Saints.
If you are dumb enough to trade your entire draft for Ricky Williams, if you can get that sort of a haul, fine. But you're going to need to have some other organization do something incredibly stupid.
But teams don't do that anymore.
Teams don't do that.
No.
Let's think about it. What is he going to be? An over 30-year-old wide receiver with about 100,000 miles on the tires,
and who hasn't played in a year?
Played in 18 months.
Yep.
What is that worth in the NFL? I don't care who it is. What is that worth in the NFL? Nothing.
And that's the thing right now, Dorf, is the window is closing. We're going to be hearing about this for the rest of this season.
I bet you it goes to bed after week 1.
Okay. Fair enough. We may hear about it again a little bit, during training camp next year. But that's going to be it. Nobody's going to go out and take a chance on a 30-plus-year-old wide receiver who hasn't played football competitively
in 18 months.
It's going to go away, and it should go away. And that's going to be the end of it. Calvin Johnson is going to go. He's going to work in the media doing something for Fox, or I'm actually kind of surprised he doesn't have a job yet. He's going to continue doing his football camps and everything.
I think he wants to coach.
Maybe.
I really think he wants to coach.
Maybe.
I mean, look he's been an in-camp advisor for the Dolphins for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and before that, he was
what's the quarterback, George Winfield, the quarterback guru that everybody goes to? I think he would love to sit on a beach in California and do that for wide receivers.
And you notice too what he's saying to Dorf is he's saying a lot of the right things when it comes to these teams, and maybe lobbying himself for a job. Oh yeah, Derek Carr. He looks really good. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he's said the praises too for guys in Miami as well. So yeah, I think that's a good point. Good point. Interesting take. You could very well be positioning yourself to be a coach in the league.
All right. Anything else you want to say on the subject?
Nope.
All right, moving on. Before we do, you forgot to put something on the screen here. for this part of the show, I'm sure you can do that real quick. That is our. I'd like to draw attention to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen right now. That is patreon.com/the majors. That is a crowdfunding site that we've set up to help support our operations here at the Major Sports Network. If you do enjoy this podcast content, how many things across the network do you put out? Podcasts that we put out on a weekly basis, between 3 and 5?
Yeah,
depending on the time of the year.
Yep.
Between 3 and 5, not to mention the countless articles that this goon over here writes every week, and when I decide to write one every 6 weeks, and a couple other people occasionally will chip in. Anyway, if you enjoy that content here, kind of the real sports, no apologies approach to things, without all the celebrity style drama that you would find at an old Gawker property. We would love to have your support there at patreon.com/the majors. So for there we do have perks and rewards for supporting us at the $5 level and above per month. It is a per month thing, or you can also find on our website themajors.net a PayPal tip jar if you just want to do a one-time thing as well. So, or as Adam would less subtly put it, give us your money. Where's my money? We still need to gotta get you that Family Guy drop with the Brian. Stewie, where's my money, man? Anyway, Tigers now. What the hell are they thinking? Nick Castellanos is going to play right field? Began working out was caught on camera working out in right field in the pregame here over the last couple weeks. Not just casually shagging fly balls out there because he was bored, actually putting in work with the outfield instructors within the organization. Is this a real thing? And you know what the logical conclusion of that is? Tigers are unwilling to do what's in the best interest long-term of their franchise. Write V. Mart a check to go away at the end of the season.
They're clueless.
They're absolutely...
They're clueless on how to make this work the right way.
You have to spend the money regardless. You might as well get somebody who's above replacement level to play there.
Yeah. Have Gerber play there next year. Why are you sitting here?
Or, you know what? So you don't have to give Miguel Cabrera day games off after night games? Designated hit him.
Yeah.
He didn't play today. That's the third straight, day game after night game that he has not participated in.
Who, Cabrera?
Correct.
Well, he also left last night's game because something happened.
It was also a blowout at the time when he left.
Yeah. But, again, I don't understand. I don't understand why the Tigers are so clueless on this. Look, this is one of the reasons why you let J.D. Martinez walk, which I was, well, not walk, but you traded him. Which I was fine with. And letting V-Mart go at the end of the season is another reason why you do that, to continue to preserve Miguel Cabrera. Look, Miguel Cabrera, you're taking quality at-bats away from the longevity of his career the longer that you continue to play him out in the field.
Absolutely. I don't give a flying fuck, Miguel, if you want to be a first baseman every day and you want to play the field. You can't stay healthy as a full-time position player.
No.
And that's been abundantly... This isn't like a 2 years in a row of bad luck. This is what now, 4 years straight of having to play wounded?
Cabrera is no good to the Tigers sitting on the bench.
Or on the disabled list.
He's no good to them. And the longer that Victor Martinez is on this roster taking up that DH spot, you're going to be forced to play Cabrera out in first base in order to get him in the lineup. Now, you go ahead and you prolong this. What good does it do putting Nick Castellanos out in right field? It doesn't do anything because all of a sudden...
He's not going to be good defensively.
He's not going to be good defensively.
You're now asking him to run around a hell of a lot more, which will probably have a negative outcome on his, his offensive production. Mm-hmm. It's, he goes from a position that sees 4 balls a game to 2.5. That's fine. But at the same... In order for him to be an effective right fielder, you're going to have to ask him to slim down. He's not a very big guy to begin with, bulk-wise. You're going to have to ask him to slim down to around 200 pounds.
Which is going to affect his power.
Which is going to affect his power. I don't understand what we're doing here. The long-term health and long-term future, or not even long-term. Let's talk 2 and 3 years out. is Miguel Cabrera is a designated hitter, Nick Castellanos is a first baseman, and that fella who I still can't pronounce his name that you just got from the Cubs is your third baseman.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why are we fucking around with this idea of Nick Castellanos as an outfielder?
Because they want to continue to protect their shitty investment with Victor Martinez and keep him on the roster.
The old man is gone. He made a mistake. He encouraged or greenlit overpaying in both dollars and years for Victor Martinez. You know what? I could have seen a 2-year, $32 million deal for VMart. That's about what you've gotten on the open market. Instead, you gave him $4 and $64.
Of course he's going to sign.
That is insane.
Yep.
You gave a 36-year-old DH only.
Yeah, Victor Martinez
a 4-year deal.
Yeah, Victor Martinez isn't playing first base for you on a regular basis. He's not catching for you on a regular basis. He is doing one thing and one thing only.
Poorly.
Yeah.
By the way, doing it poorly.
Sometimes good. You have little tiny stretches where he'll be good, but that's it.
You know what? He was insanely productive the year before the contract extension. He was. Insanely. But guess what?
It still doesn't justify.
This is the post-steroid era. You do not give guys past their 33rd birthday more than a 2-year deal. You just don't. And you gave him 4? With a history of issues with his knees?
Yeah.
You know what? Fucking admit you made a mistake. It was whoever's fault it was, they aren't around anymore. One works for another team, the other's dead. It is not your mistake. And if that is current ownership's attitude that, you know what, we're not going to pay somebody to not play for us, then fuck them, sell the team. You aren't serious about winning.
Look, this
isn't something unprecedented in sports oops, we fucked up with a contract, we're going to have to pay a guy to go away. That is not unprecedented in sports. Get with the program. It is part of doing business. And if you don't like it, get out.
You know what, too, Dorf? This isn't Milwaukee or Tampa Bay or Arizona.
You are the 11th or 12th biggest media market in the country.
This is
act like it.
Yes, this is a bigger market. This is what ownership should have.
And until you started blowing, you got the best local TV ratings in the entire business.
Yeah, this is what ownership should expect. And it's going to be very telling to Dorf, the state of this franchise and the ownership, behind the wheel of this franchise, based on what happens with manager here at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
If it turns up that Brad Ausmus is coming back, then that's all we need to know. That's all we need to know about.
Guys, his contract is up at the end of the year.
Yep, that's all we need to know about the attitude that Chris Ilitch has regarding this team and the amount of money he's willing to put into it.
You know what? They do have quite a bit of money coming off the books.
They do.
None of it's going to be. All signs point to, you can't say this for sure, that the money will not be reinvested in the team. What they're saved. They're just going to fill it with minimum salary, pre-arbitration type players. Guess what? Your upper levels of your system fucking blow. It's going to be you're going to just try and ride out the end of an era where you have aging stars that you can still get a tiny, tiny bit out of. You're going to ride that out and go off and, whimper into the night because you're afraid to do what's right. Now, what is right could also be blow it up and burn it down and literally sell everything that's not bolted to the floor. That may be the right thing to do. That is it is a right thing to do. I don't think anybody after a more than decade-long run of success would argue we're out of ammo. We got to reload. We can't spend our way out of this. We have nothing exciting, that's anywhere on the cusp of helping us. You know what? You got to trust the process. It's time to go the way of the Astros and literally fucking burn it down.
The thing is I'm seeing a lot of stuff from fans where it seems like they would be fine with that. However, Dorf,
I think everybody in sports has kind of realized that is a reality of sports.
However, Dorf, if the Tigers were going to go and trade Miguel Cabrera this year, they would not be happy with the return they got for him.
The return that you should be happy with from Miguel Cabrera is freedom from his contract. You could literally trade Miguel Cabrera for some reliever in rookie ball who's 26 years old, coming off Tommy John surgery, and that's all you get for him. And you don't send little or no money the other way. Somebody should, if that deal happens, Al Avila should get a fucking promotion and a lifetime contract extension. This all stems from just this stupid way of you know what? Old-fashioned way of thinking and assembling a baseball organization. Get with the program, Tigers management. This is the 21st century. Teams are no longer built like they were in the late 90s, early 2000s, and are successful. Modernize your fucking approach, or you're going to get crushed. You need guys that can play multiple positions. It's not about, just having the best 9 guys that play every day. It's about getting guys that you can assemble a group of parts together that on any given day, if you got 3 guys coming off the bench that crush righties and the 3 guys going on to the bench that don't, or wherever. Get with the program. That's how rosters are successfully assembled. Just the days of just running the same 9 out there every day and being successful because everybody's just kind of good at a little bit of everything are gone. They've been proven to be insufficient, outdated, and quite frankly old as fuck time and time again. And have been for the better part of 6 years. This denial of baseball reality, let's call it. And the more you delay accepting it, the longer it will take to rebuild this team.
Do you think they're honestly, though, going to keep or put Castellanos in right field? Do you honestly think that that's something that they're going to do? Because
I hope not.
I hope not.
I do.
I hope not, too.
I really do think they would. I think they are dumb enough to be, all right, outfield set. Don't got to do anything. Justin Upton sticking around. Now Mike McTook again. We're going to have Nick Castellanos in right field. There's our everyday team. Cool. I think they're. Prospects aren't ready yet. That's fine.
The thing, I'm just wondering too, because if this is something they're planning and something they're on board with, then is this another indication that Brett Ausmus is going to be returning next year?
I hope not.
Is this the prelude to that? Because I can't see them doing this and then having another manager come in and being told that, hey, you know what? We're going to see Nick Castellanos out there in right field. It has to stay like that.
Now, it would be one thing if you're just trying to add some skills to his skill set.
Tools for his toolbox?
Tools for his toolbox. Look at Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant in a given year, last year I played first 30, he DH'd once. Played center and right field.
Yeah.
It would be one thing if, we're going to try and increase the versatility of this roster, Nick. We want you to be able to play right field for us in spots.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Now's a great time to learn on the fly. You're going to play right field in September.
Okay.
And you're going to try it.
All right.
I would be fine with that. But, you know what? If we're evolving our organizational approach where it may be in our best interest today to have Nick Castellanos play first, tomorrow it'll be to play third, the day after that it'll be DH, and the day after that it may be to play in right. I would be fine with that.
Yeah, so would I.
But just be up front. You know what? I'm not going to ask you to be upfront about it. The last thing I want a team to do is show their cards.
That's not something that Ausmus is going to do, though. He's going to plant them right.
Plant him right where he is.
Plant him right where he is. And he's going to play him there.
Old-fashioned bullshit about, you know what, the only guys that you really should, there's like 2 positions on the diamond that you shouldn't fuck around and have a guy play over the place. Catcher, shortstop. Maybe you could argue center field.
Those are the 3 most important position players on the field.
Look at some of the guys that successful teams have trotted out in the corner outfield. Because when it comes down to it, how many balls does the average right fielder see in a game?
Not many.
3?
Yeah.
Maybe 4?
Well, you know,
half the guys fucking, or a third of the guys fucking strike out.
Well, you know, because I remember when they brought Peralta over. They brought Peralta over because Cleveland was ready to move on from him because he wasn't doing well.
And they had a guy coming up that they thought was going to be good.
Yep. Eric Wedge decided to fuck around with Peralta and move him over to third base. Production ended up being affected because of it. Mm-hmm. Went to Detroit.
They moved a great run of 4 good years.
They moved him back to shortstop. Probably told him, Johnny,
it's your spot, man.
This is where you're going to play. We're not going to fuck around with you. So it's yours. Look what happened. Johnny Peralta.
You got multiple All-Star seasons out of him for a pitch. You traded him straight up for a minor league pitcher who had like 4 appearances 4 years later and is now out of the league.
Mm-hmm.
4 major league appearances actually ended up with the Chicago Cubs and got like rocked in all 4 of them and is out of baseball.
Yep. So
it's just fucking dumb. That's what it is. All right. Another monkey wrench you could throw on the whole Tigers thing.
Yeah.
What happens when J-Up opts out? Guy continues to be on a tear.
I don't know. I guess the silver lining is you don't.
It's very unlikely to.
Yeah, I mean you don't have that money to contend with.
22 and an eighth million for the next 4 years. You'd be getting out of.
Yeah, you don't have the money to contend with, but at the same time, I mean you're
losing your best player.
Yeah.
Justin Upton is now your best player.
You don't think is he going to be the third? Should he be the third bat on the lineup or in the batting order?
Every day until proven otherwise.
So you move Cabrera over to 4, and then
Justin's been hitting third. Cabrera's been hitting 4th.
Well, that's right. I was talking
permanent change.
Yes, I was talking for next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin Upton, if he decides to stick around, is now the face of your franchise too.
Oh, I don't know if that's going to happen.
No, he is. He should be.
Maybe.
Should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's most certainly the best player. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that.
And you know what? I hate this, but you know you can at least market him.
Nah. I don't know if I want to go there.
He'll talk to people.
Miggy will talk to people. Miggy's engaging.
When have you ever seen a post-game interview with Miguel Cabrera?
Well, the media and the fans are 2 different things.
Well,
you're talking about the media.
Marketing efforts are mostly driven through the media, yes. When have you ever seen Tigers Live have like a 3-minute chat with Miguel Cabrera? I got a clue for you. Never. When have you Tigers, come from behind win? When were the in the stadium reporter? When has Johnny Kane ever had Miguel Cabrera on? Never. When do you see the Tigers and Miguel Cabrera out there doing when they have an off day doing community outreach program? Never. You have your chance to do that here. Not that that really matters in the grand scheme of things, but you have your chance.
And I'm not really looking at that. I'm looking at
in the grand scheme of things, it's an unimportant part of.
I'm looking at how this team is going to be affected in either scenario, whether Justin Upton opts in or he opts out. That's what I'm looking at.
It'll be a big risk for him to opt out.
It will.
Huge risk for him to opt out.
Yeah. And he can't come back and be like, oh, I'm just kidding. Can I have that contract back, please?
This would be 30, hitting free agency again and giving up 89 million in guaranteed money.
And he would be
8.5.
And he's competing with his former teammate in the free agent market, too.
Oh, yeah. This year's corner outfield free agent market is incredibly crowded.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of money to go around.
Yep.
Jay Bruce, Curtis Granderson,
JD Martinez,
Justin Upton, depending on what Jonas Cespedes does.
And JD Martinez is going to get a contract that is going to be ridiculous, and it's going to be one of those deals that may end up getting a GM fired. Maybe.
Yep. But you'll probably get a ring. You know what? You very well could get a ring before it, too.
Good. And if he does get a ring before it, then you know what? That'll probably save the GM's job. But
it's totally fine with me.
But based on what JD Martinez, what he was offered by the Tigers last offseason or during spring training, I can't remember which one it was.
What was the reported offer?
It wasn't 80, was it?
He's going to get more than that this offseason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Good man for him turning that down. He's going to bet on himself and win, just like Max Scherzer did.
Well, yeah, he got injured, came back, was on fire, and
is doing well for the Diamondbacks.
Doing extremely well for the Diamondbacks. So, yeah, he's probably going to be getting a ridiculous contract.
Well, he's hitting his dingers and doubles, man.
Yeah.
I really hope Justin Upton doesn't opt out, but
I ultimately hope he doesn't too. I mean, it's a lot to make up with him not on the roster, and without, I mean, you still want to put a watchable team on the field.
Absolutely. All right. Last segment of the night here tonight, we're going to do the cut room floor. That being so. Red Wings symbol was on homemade riot shields at this kerfuffle in Virginia there. Charlottesville, Virginia on the campus of the University of Virginia. Good on the team for coming out immediately saying, fuck those guys, we're going to sue the pants off of them. We just got to figure out who we got to send the papers to.
No, it's the organization is called the Detroit Right Wings, so I don't know if they're going to be, I don't know if that's an organization that has paperwork filed or anything like that, but it's...
I'm sure you can figure out what it is.
Yeah, it's just, it sucks having to talk about this in 2017.
Yeah.
I mean, you thought we're beyond all of this, and it's quite remarkable that the Red Wings put out a stronger statement on the issue than Donald Trump did, so... Yeah, it sucks that the Red Wings had to be associated with something like that.
Absolutely. Former Red Wings coach and general manager Brian Murray has passed. He died yesterday, correctly?
Yep, after I believe he was diagnosed with cancer in 2014. Ended up,
74 years old.
Yep, it ended up spreading. You know what? You're not going to remember Brian Murray,
nope.
Dorf, but Brian Murray didn't last long with the Red Wings. He went from 1990 to 1994. He was the coach.
Considering I was not born to 3 years old.
He was the head coach for 3 of those seasons. Then Scotty Bowman came in. He remained on as the general manager 93, 94 before leaving, and I believe Scotty Bowman actually assumed the general manager role and the head coaching role for a little while. But the thing with Brian Murray is, when you look back on it, I think he helped serve as that bridge from just decades of mediocrity and just utter shit for some of those years, especially in the 70s, to becoming what they did in the 1990s. And in the 1990s, obviously, is when they really started to turn things around and to become a dynasty. But Brian Murray served as that bridge. Wasn't able to take it entirely on himself. Never got past the second round during his tenure here. Always made it to the playoffs, but another big thing that he was never able to do was get an adequate starting goaltender. He was dealing with Tim Shovelday. Then he got Bob Essensa in here, which really wasn't anything. And it wasn't until Scotty Bowman came in that they got Mike Vernon. And Mike Vernon was a guy that was able to kind of mentor Chris Osgood a little bit and bring,
pretty damn good run of good quality starting goalies.
And then bring the Red Wings to Chris Osgood who eventually turned into Dominic Hasek, and then back to Chris Osgood.
And yeah.
So
so on and so forth. Justin Verlander, as reported by, I believe it's John Paul Morosi of Fox, MLB Network. Little known quirk of the collective bargaining agreement. If the Tigers, he were to waive his no-trade clause to be traded, he could actually add an opt-out in at any time he wanted for the remainder of his contract. So say he wanted to go to Milwaukee, you could just go there for the stretch run and then opt out. Side effect is you give up $56 million in guaranteed money, but you could be a free agent again if you wanted to.
And based on the on the interest in him this trade deadline season and the amount of money he currently has on his deal, he's not obviously going to be making that type of money on the free agent.
If he were to opt out, he would not get that much money again.
Nope.
Which means there's no reason for him to waive his no-trade clause.
Yep.
Grant Perry, Michigan football wide receiver, fully reinstated to the team after his, I believe it was sexual assault charges that were pled down to, I believe, just disorderly conduct, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Probably should have looked that up ahead of time. So he's back as a full member without restriction of the University of Michigan football team. And Grosse Pointe Woods Shores, so a team from just east of here, has made it to the Little League World Series. Congratulations.
More like Northeast, but...
I know. It's still technically east of here.
Yeah, I know. It is.
It's the first team in Michigan, I believe, to make it since 2007, when they did it in 2007. All right, so that is going to wrap up tonight's program. This 147th episode of Motor City Uncut, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit. Join us each and every Sunday night, 6 p.m.-ish Eastern, right here on Detroit.themajors.net. So for Adam, I'm Dorf. We'll see you guys next time.